Jimmy Carter, the 39th President of the United States, is remembered for many things. But the image most people have of him isn't that of a wealthy politician. Instead, it's of a humble man with a kind heart, someone who always put others before himself. Yet, the story of his final net worth is something most wouldn't expect, and it's one that moved his family deeply. Carter's life was never about amassing riches. Born in 1924 in Plains, Georgia, he grew up on a peanut farm. His upbringing was simple, and those values stayed with him throughout his life. Even after becoming president, he refused to let power or fame change who he was. While others in politics sought luxury and status, Carter focused on what truly mattered, making the world a better place. When Carter left office in 1981, he didn't follow the path of many former presidents. There were no high-profile speaking tours or massive book deals that made him millions overnight. Instead, he went back to Plains, where he and his wife, Rosalind, lived in a modest ranch house. To put it in perspective, the value of Carter's home was far less than the Secret Service vehicles parked outside. But what makes Carter's financial story even more remarkable is how he chose to spend his time after leaving the White House. Instead of chasing wealth, he dedicated himself to serving others. He worked tirelessly with Habitat for Humanity, helping build homes for families in need. Long past the age when most people retire, could be found with a hammer in hand, working side by side with volunteers. While Carter's finances were modest, his actions spoke volumes. He once said, "My faith demands that I do whatever I can, wherever I can, whenever I can, for as long as I can." And he lived those words. Through his charitable work, Carter impacted countless lives, showing that true wealth isn't measured in dollars, but in kindness and generosity. His family often marveled at how Carter managed to stay grounded despite his achievements. As America's longest-living president, he saw decades of change, yet his values never wavered. He was a Nobel Peace Prize winner, an author of over 30 books, and a respected voice in global affairs. Yet, his focus remained on simple living and giving back. What really brought his family to tears, though, wasn't just the size of his bank account, it was what that number represented. At the end of his life, Carter's net worth was estimated to be around $10 million. Compared to the fortunes of many modern politicians, it's a modest sum. But for Carter, it was never about the money. That figure reflected decades of hard work, integrity, and a commitment to service. Carter's choices showed his family and the world that true success isn't about climbing the financial ladder. It's about staying true to your principles and leaving a legacy that inspires others. His life became a reminder that happiness doesn't come from what you have but from what you give. As his health declined, Carter's family reflected on the incredible man they had the privilege to call husband, father, and grandfather. They were proud of his achievements, but more than that, they were moved by the way he lived his life. His humility, compassion, and unwavering dedication to others left a lasting impression not just on them, but on everyone who knew his story. Carter's final years were spent quietly, surrounded by the people he loved most. And when the time came for him to say goodbye, it was clear that his legacy wasn't just in the history books. It was in the homes he helped build, the lives he touched, and the values he passed on to his family. So, while Jimmy Carter's net worth might not have been staggering in financial terms, the emotional value of his life's work is priceless. His family's tears weren't of sadness, but of pride and gratitude. Carter showed the world that the true measure of a person isn't their wealth, but the love and kindness they leave behind. As we remember his incredible story, let it serve as a lesson for all of us. Life isn't about chasing riches. It's about making a difference. And in that sense, Jimmy Carter was one of the richest men in the world.